Professor Parinello was also direct medalist in 2009 for developing the ab initio simulation method, in which he combines elegantly the quantum mechanical density functional method for the calculation of the electronic properties of matter with molecular dynamics methods for the Newtonian simulation of atomic motions. Welcome to you.
Thank you very much. I don't think I ever had a more charming presentation in my life. Thanks to the young lady. And I'm the very last speaker in a very, no, except the, well, one but last scientific speaker of the day, and we are all very tired, so I think I will provide some kind of light entertainment and talk about a problem which possibly most of us can understand. So sodium is some 8 years ago, Wigner and Seitz published a paper on metallic sodium, and they generally considered as a simple metal, so the prototype of simple metal. The electronic shell are here. There is one S electron in the outer shell, which diffuses through the crystal, and basically the electronic states, they are confined within the Fermi surface, so the state which have momentum smaller than the Fermi momentum are occupied, those that are outside are empty. And here there is a nice picture which looks like old metals on the periodic table. If you see, they all look alike. Gray, like me. So, okay, so is that a really simple metal? Now there is a possibility, by very simple means, through this Diamond-David cell, to subject metals to high pressures in the laboratory, and out came several surprises. And here I have a picture of a part of the phase diagram of sodium as a function of pressure and temperature. And at a low temperature, there's a BCC phase, then it goes into an FCC, then another more complicated structure. And then here, there are data that we start occupying the D states, and so the chemical bond will become complicated, and the structure will become very messy. So we will not go into this messy D land, and we remain confined to the SP part of the phase diagram, which is messy on its own. And if you pay attention to this phase diagram, you will see something extraordinary. So when you compress a system, you expect that the system becomes jammed, and so it will be the more you compress the fluid, the system, the more difficult it will be for the liquid to be generated because of steric hindrance. Instead, here, that's at the beginning, we do see this behavior. We start this coexistent curve between liquid and solid in this area. BCC rises very sharply, but then goes through a maximum at around 1,000 Kelvin, and then dramatically drops until back to room temperature. So this is some unusual behavior that has triggered our attention and the attention of many others. In principle, we have all the tools for doing that, some of which have been developed by Roberto and myself. We can calculate with reasonably high precision the interatomic forces, do some molecular dynamics, calculate the phase diagram. We have all the tools. The difficulty is that in order to do that, you require enormous amount of computer time. And unless you make some drastic approximation, and for instance, in this paper, which was published on Nature, such a kind of calculation was performed, and with the useful result, so much so that they got a publication on Nature. But I was not satisfied with the result, although interesting and useful, of this group, and we decided to tackle tackle this problem, and also not only to address the problem of sodium, but to address a more general problem of calculating complicated phase diagrams. So developing tools for calculating phase diagram of metals and various substances, and you can imagine that this is an issue of wide interest in many areas, from metallurgy to geophysics and so on. And the way we do is we do very large number of calculation, or like 20,000 different highly accurate calculations, and we calculate the energies, the forces, and we try to fit, interpolate between these data so to generate the potential. The way we do this fit is through the use of neural network. In a neural network, you have inputs. Then you combine these inputs through a nonlinear function. In this case, it's two-layer. And then from here, you go another such combination, and you go to the end. And there are some parameters here which you fit to the set of data that you have calculated. So roughly 2/3 of the data are used for the fit. 1/3 of the data are used to check that the interpolation is correct. And this neural network is inspired by the way our brain works. And the linear function has this sigmoidal shape, a little bit like the synapses, which they can fire. They can have two states suddenly move from one state to the other. So trying to see how our brain works. If we try to, the potential in our system is very highly dimensional potential. So there's no chance that even the smartest neural network can do the job. But we can use some trick. For instance, we write the total energy as the sum of atomic energies. Then, rather than inputting directly the position, we symmetrize we use some symmetry function so that we impose translational and rotational invariance. And each atom has its own neural network, and these are all equal. If you do this procedure, we get a rather accurate fit when we can. This is in the solid, a different pressure, the phonon spectrum. This is in the liquid experiment, and theory. They match pretty well. So we can now do our calculate the phase diagram. This calculation of phase diagram is very, very computer intensive, and would be impossible to do a similar quality job with ab initio. So we find the BCC, FCC, the phase, the liquid, and so on. And it is important. There is some, the scale is different. So the FT that we use is accurate, but not super accurate. So there is still some work to be done there. But there are qualitative differences between our calculation and previous one, which all the difference boils down to the higher accuracy of our thing. There's been suggestion there could be a liquid-to-liquid phase transition. That's not the case. OK, so we have this big machinery. We can calculate the phase diagram. But then at the end of the day, the computer knows why this strange behavior is there. And we would like to have a better understanding of the phenomena. So what? It's a typical question which I ask my people when they come with results, which typically nowadays compare reasonably well with the experiment, and so you have to go to the bottom of it. So we try to understand, to answer the question, so what? And we did this thing. So we try to construct a realistic two-body potential. And so for the sodium, and the way we do, we place two sodium atoms in a sea of electrons, a bit like the primitive model for electrons, where the electrons are spread all over uniformly. So this would simulate somehow the environment in the liquid in which the atom the sodium atom sits, so I calculate the energy, I move forward and back, I do it at different pressure. So at the end of the day, I get a density-dependent potential, which is here showed in 3 dimensions. And it's more interesting to look at this potential from above, because you can, before we do that, I want to point out this waviness here, this ondulation in the potential. This ondulation in the potential, they are a consequence of that's related to so-called Friedel oscillations, and they are a consequence of the fact that in momentum space, there is a sharp discontinuity in the states which are occupied. This discontinuity is reflected in real space by oscillations. And the amplitude and the phase of this oscillation vary as a function of the density. So if you look from above, I can see here is the minimum. These are the oscillations that I was talking about. And it is instructive to follow what would be the position of a perfect BCC lattice and the perfect FCC lattice on this potential. So you see the BCC as a first neighbor and second neighbors. As I squeeze it, they go closer and closer to this part, which I will show later on. And if you do to the second, yes, so this disappear. Then if we look at the FCC, we see that here, the second neighbor, so they sit in the minimum, and this is one of the reasons why the system at 0 temperature wants to go from FCC, from BCC to FCC. And it's interesting, the region where there is a maximum in the potential, in the phase diagram, roughly sits here, when the waviness changes. And the phase, you see also the size of the place where the potential goes steep changes as a function of pressure. So we got a short range. These are the first neighbor which had disappeared from our things, because squeezing, they come closer and closer. OK. So we can do a quick and dirty calculation using this two-body potential, and lo and behold, we find that this is not perfect. There are differences between the exact full calculation, but this phenomena, which is related to a well-known effect in the physics of simple metals, is able to explain this phenomena. I think that I have to put out the list of my collaborators. This is mostly the thesis work of our guy Eshet in my group, and it's been helped by Kalulin Rastam. Jörg Beller is now professor in Bochum, and Thomas Kuhne is in Mainz as well, young professor. And I thank you for your attention.